Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they are referred to as the Synoptic Gospels. Synoptic means they have similar stories. Matthew's written something, Luke has written similar to Matthew, and Mark has also mentioned it as well to somewhat degree. Synoptic means similarities. Gospel of John, nothing to do with the other three, totally different. Why? Because since the Gospel of John is addressing Christ as the divine, as God revealed in the flesh, then what is there to compare God with? Nothing. The language that talks about God will be totally different, because God is the only unique being that exists on his own, by himself, and he is the only creator of everything and everyone. Even though it's not our topic, but we hear this: God is perfect. We've heard this before, haven't we? God is perfect. And we say, yeah, of course, as a believer, of course God is perfect. But do you understand what perfect means? Have you ever asked yourself this question? What does it mean that God is perfect? Well, in a nutshell, he is the only being that came into existence internally, not externally. So he existed by himself. There was no other power or force prior to him that brought him into existence. God is the only being that brought himself into existence by himself. We cannot claim the word perfect because my parents brought me into existence. I did not come by myself with my own power, with my own strength. I did not come into existence. Someone else, external to me, pre-existent to me, brought me into existence. Therefore, since I did not create myself by myself, I can never claim the title perfect. The one who brought me into existence is the perfect one, not me. So my parents cannot claim it because they were brought into existence by their parents, and so on and so on and so on. But the only one that can claim perfection is God, because he came into existence by himself. This is why this universe has a creator, because the universe has a beginning. What Big Bang? And who caused the Big Bang? See? And I don't know which of their uncles was there 13.5 billion years ago. If they can tell me which uncle or grandpa, maybe I'll call him. Anyway, it's absolute ignorant statement. So God is the only being that came into existence by himself. That's why he can claim the title perfect. The Logos. Let's read verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The way the Holy Bible is structured, that on its own is a valid proof that God exists. The way it's written. That on its own proves that there is God. In the beginning. Amazing. We see this in the beginning. We see that also in the very start of the Old Testament, Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. Moses. So we have Moses on one hand and John the Beloved on the other. One of the Old Testament, the other of the New Testament. Moses wrote 5 books which are referred to as the Torah. Torah means law. The books of law, the law of God to the Israelite nation and thereafter to the entire world. He wrote Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. These are the Torah, 5 books of Moses. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. When we read in Genesis, the very beginning of the Old Testament book, chapter 1, verse 1, the very beginning, Moses starts his book by saying, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. But he begins his first book with the word in the beginning. And John the Beloved begins his gospel with the same exact words as Moses the prophet. In the beginning was the word. But there is a difference. The beginning which Moses is referring to, the beginning which Moses is writing of, it is the beginning of time and the entire human race. It is the beginning of creation. It is the beginning of time. However, the beginning in the Gospel according to St. John is the beginning that has no beginning. This beginning is God Himself. So Moses in the beginning is the beginning of time. John, the beginning, is the beginning that has no beginning. In the beginning was the Word. In the Greek text, it is logos. Now, in English, word does not serve it properly and completely, because the word can be taken as any word. But no, logos literally means intellect, brain. So if we can read it the right way, it should be read this way. In the beginning was the intellect, the brain. In the beginning was the brain, and the brain was with God, and the brain was God. Because why this brain was with God and this brain was God Himself? Because there has never been a time that God ever existed without a brain. He always existed with the brain. And as human beings, when we are born with a brain, aren't we? We don't come into this world and then mommy and daddy come and say, oh look, sorry, the brain is coming, please wait. You come with the brain. You're born with it. It's with you. In mommy's tummy, the brain is there.